Hello everybody, this is Paul Taplett here at Liongard. Today I'm putting this video together to talk about the recent 3CX security incident and how Liongard can help you out. So if you haven't heard, you can easily just search out for 3CX incident on Google and you should see plenty of articles that cover the event. But a quick recap is unfortunately there's a vulnerability in their 3CX desktop app that has been identified, and they provided us the specific versions numbers as we're seeing here from 3CX. So I want to approach this with how can Liongard help out in an event such as this? So where we can help out here is we do provide the software list for end user workstations through our Windows Workstation Inspector. And so today I'm going to demo how you can use the Windows Workstation Inspector to, one, report on what customers you have out there, or excuse me, what workstations you have out there for your customers that have this vulnerable desktop version on it. And also, how can you alert on it? And how could you possibly be notified of any changes? So to start off, what we're going to need is we're going to need a metric around this. And so we have already created this metric for you inside of our Liongard library. So in order to grab this, you would just hop over into the Liongard library. And then if you search here for all metric entries against Windows Workstation 3CX version detection, it's going to be this entry right here. Most likely, if you're watching this quickly after this release of this video, you should see it on this trending list that's showing up here. Let me go ahead and click into it. So this is a metric written against Windows Workstation. And what it's really doing is it's just looking for the vendor 3CX, and then it's also looking for these specific versions. And this double pipe symbol is essentially an OR. So it's saying if they have either or of these versions present for 3CX, then please go ahead and return those results and tell me about it. So this can be reused for other versions. You just would put the version number in here and you could put another OR clause if it's multiple versions, or you can remove whatever you need to. But this is reusable for even other software vendors too. What you're going to want to do is you're going to go ahead and copy this query. And then you're going to take that copy and you're going to go back into Liongard. And you're going to go into your admin metrics right here. And then I have already created this, but let me just copy it. And essentially, you're just going to add a new metric up here in the top right corner. This is for the Workstation Inspector because we're going to be looking at the software list on the Windows Workstation. We'll just call this 3CX version detection. Anything you want to name it. This is just essentially the name of the metric. And then you're going to paste that query right down here. Now, as you see, it'll show an empty result, and empty just basically means it's not present, it's not there. So that's good, that's fine. Now, if it was present, and I believe this should be my machine here, if it is present, then it will return the results of the version and everything, and when it was installed, and if it can pull the install location as well, that would show up here. So this is everything you're going to need. Now, if you want to turn this on for change detection as well, which means every time the inspector runs, if you want the timeline to show if this version shows up, I would also recommend you turn the change detection enabled on right here. I've already saved this metric, so I'm going to cancel out, but you can go ahead and save it in on your end. So go ahead and hit save. Okay, so now we have a metric that basically extracts this information and pulls it out. Let's talk about creating an alert for it. So if you go to Admin Actionable Alerts, I'm going to jump up here. Go ahead and hit Create Rule. I'm going to edit the one I've already created just to show you how to build it. So from here, you would choose the Windows Workstation from this inspector list. You would give it a title. So I called it 3CX version detected, and I put in vulnerability like this. And then you need to just test you need to just choose a system that you have available for Windows Workstation to test against. So go ahead and hit a drop down here and choose one of your systems. And then the important part here is the rule condition. From here, you want to choose the metric that you just created inside of the metric screen. So whatever you named it, you're going to click into here and you can type in to filter down to that metric. and you're going to go ahead and select it. Now, what's important is use the is not empty operator like I did. Essentially, this is saying is if this ever populates, meaning the detection or the presence of the version is there, if that's not empty, it populates, then I want this to trigger. Here's an example what that looks like. Let me go back to this Dell. Let me repopulate the logic here. So see, this will trigger yes because it's not empty, and in this case, this alert would trigger. So that's the clause, the operator you want to use. And then you can put some alert content down here. I just quickly threw in a vulnerable version was detected. Please take the necessary steps to remediate. And what I would also suggest here is in the alert comments, if you hit this metric table, I would hit the selection for the metric you created, the same one you're using for this alert, because what that will do is when this triggers, it'll populate in the comments down here all that information for you so you can see it in the ticket body. I'm going to show you what that looks like. But again, I would go ahead and set your alert up similar to this, and I would hit save. In this case, I'm going to hit cancel because I've already created it. All right. So let's do two things with this alert and with this metric. Let's see what an alert looks like when it triggers. Lucky for you, I've already made that occur, so I'll show you one. And then let's also build a report around this metric as well so we could do an audit. The first thing I'll show you is what it looks like when this alert triggers, right? So I'm going to go to my home screen. I'm going to go to Open Alerts. And I'm just going to go ahead and filter down for my alert. And here we go. I've had two of these trigger that I basically made fire off for you so I could show how they work. So let me go into one of these. So you can see when this was actually 17 minutes ago when this happened, it was created today, that the detection of this version appeared inside of this Windows Workstation Inspector. And now I could be made aware that, hey, like, so let's say someone updated to this version or this version was installed on a particular desktop. You can be made aware at that point in time when it happens, keeping this alert turned on from a monitor standpoint, right? So you can take the remediation to essentially to close this is this version can no longer be on this machine or this ticket will keep reopening because it's going to keep seeing that, hey, this version is detected. So you can either silence the alert, which I would not recommend because you're basically saying I'm just going to accept the vulnerability, or you need to work with that end user and either update them to the stable version or remove this 3CX desktop app version from their machine. And then, in fact, when you do so, this inspector will run again on its next scheduled run, and it'll detect that this is no longer present, and it'll go effectively back to being an empty metric. And this ticket would auto close itself as well and self-remediate once you take that action. So now we've talked about the alert. Let me show how to create a report though and go, well, what if I want to know about what's out there right now and who I need to go take care of? So we're going to go to the reports tab right up here. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a quick one-time report by hitting create report up here. I'm going to say this is a one-time report. We'll call this the 3CX version audit. I'm going to hit next. I'm going to run this for all of my customers right now. I want to see this across the board. This is going to be for the Workstation Inspector. And I'm going to choose my 3CX metric. Great. And I can even filter this down. And so now what I can do is I can create this report and I can see that I now out of the 8 machines that I manage, I have 2 machines right now that are currently vulnerable and are on this desktop version. These other 4 machines are safe. They either do not have 3CX desktop app installed on them, or they do not have this version of 3CX desktop app on them. I can download this report as an Excel or PDF, send it off to my team. I could also potentially run this for one of my end customers. Who is concerned about the vulnerability, and I could run this for just their environment. Again, I could export this and I can send it over to them as a proof that, look, you're in the clear and you do not have the presence of this. on your on your users' devices. Another one is you could potentially run this and see the detection of the 3CX desktop app is unfortunately out there for your end users. You could, put that away, save that report, then you can go remediate and you can run the report again and to show the progress and to show, hey, look, this is what we took care of you, and this was a serious cybersecurity incident that we have, jumped on top for you, and took care of. So what I really wanted to show off today is kind of the ways that Liongard can quickly kind of help you audit and get ahead and be proactive on issues that are happening today, and start taking those steps to show that you're being responsible and that you're trying to be mindful in your cybersecurity posture and how you're trying to help, enable your end users and customers the best you can. Thank you for watching today. I hope this is helpful. And as always, you can reach out to us here at Liongard by chatting with us if you have any questions, and we'd be happy to help with you. All right. Well, thank you very much. I hope everyone has a great day. Take care.